Hi, everybody. Hello, hello. Says we're live. This is a new platform, new computer, new browser, and so it sometimes takes a while to weave through the technical jungle to find you. But namaste, my loves. Hi, Queen. Hola, hola, hola. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to get to play with you again in the Sacred Soul Powers class starting in less than 2 weeks. So, hi, Sylvia and Lisa. Hi. Hello, my beautiful Jamaican friend. Good. So say hi if you're here. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Symphony. And Kim. Hey, Kim. It's interesting when my cursor was over Kim, it whited you out. So I almost didn't even see you. Interesting. So, so happy to be here. We have just gone through a truly epic storm. Nobody said there was going to be a hurricane. It was a mini one, and it was pretty intense. So we were surveying the damage this morning. We still have some wind. However, it's something else, and I'm so grateful for spiritual guidance because everything I've done for the last 20 years or so has been from inner spiritual guidance. It's spurred by a fear or pain in my world, in my real world, if you want to call it that. This isn't the real world to me. In my physical world, in this magnificent, amazing playground that we've made to come. I mean, just think about it. My brother-in-law is actively dying. And I'm not anywhere nearby. And so I do healing work and energy work. I put the infinity healing chambers. I do the kind of magic healing energy work, timeless. There's no distance in frequency work. And I've learned so many different from machines and instruments that send codes, that make remedies, to learning homeopathy, to energy healing and animal communication and shamanic healing, and just everything built on the thing before. So I feel so grateful that in this time of great metamorphosis and huge transformation that we're being offered an opportunity to shapeshift so fast. And nobody's going to tell you it's easy. And it's the goodies go. Your goodies are there. Nobody else can get your goodies. But I do have this kind of thing that I realized after a lot of breakdowns in my life and becoming more and more conscious, more and more aware of my life, rather than living in the story, the ups and downs of who said what, and did I do it right, and I failed, and I lost, and I made money, and I didn't make money, and I'm good enough, and now I'm not good enough, in this relationship and that relationship, pay the bills, on and on and on. Everybody's overwhelmed and full of adrenal fatigue after so much time. Okay, we're timeless beings. So after so much effort and focus that we've put into playing this drama, of course, it's our primary habit, response, reaction. Excuse me, one moment, please. Thank you. And so we have to realize a few things, because first of all, we need to love ourselves, which is a big conversation, which I couldn't even say that when I first started going to a spiritual teacher. I literally started to shake, sweat, turn beet red, go into a panic, because I was in a room of a spiritual group, and they said, we're going to go around the room and each person is going to say, I love, and your name. So I would say, I love Akasha. And now I could do that. I was like, I love Akasha. And I can tell you that I love myself more than I loved myself when I was young and thin and athletic and had the hottest guy in the world, or when the DJ was jumping out of the booth at the resort in high school, like Dirty Dancing, and coming to dance with me and everyone cleared the floor, or when I was all Europe in basketball, or whatever, right? All these peak moments in our lives, they're really fun. And if they're relevant to that time in your life, like I could care less who likes me now. But it wasn't the focus of my life back then. Now my life is to be the wise one, the elder who's been through it all and accepts the power and the riches from the experience, from the wisdom, from the knowledge, from the abilities. And if you keep growing through the pain, through the addictions, through the cravings, through the disappointments, through the anger, through feeling stuck, miserable, blaming, judging, binging, whatever it is, okay? There's so many patterns that then self-fulfill themselves, and you end up spinning inside of a story that has no way out because you keep creating the future from the past, from the fear, and from what you think it meant. Now, one thing happened. What you think it meant and what every other person thinks it meant is completely different. You're going to find people who will agree with you. Like, oh, can you believe that? Oh my gosh, aren't they terrible? This should happen. That should happen. Da, 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 da. And if you talk to enough people about your hate and your blame and your anger and your out of control emotions and your lack of mastery, emotional mastery, you're going to find plenty of people eventually that want to say, yeah, I know, right? And then, and this, and isn't it terrible when that, and don't you hate it when this, and isn't this true? And now you're in their reality and you're helping them create that reality and grow that reality in the moment and in the Akasha. So the Akasha or the Akashic records is like the fifth element or dark matter. It is the substance of the divine, of everything, within which we can record, we imprint everything we feel and experience. So if you went into the Akasha and you were like reconnecting to your desire to be independent, to have your own voice, to do what you love, to make good money, feel worthy of it, be willing and able to ask for it, to feel great about what you do, to give with all of the confidence and self-presence, centeredness, but being centered. And there's a joke that goes, oh, I need to calm down. I am self-centered. I am self-centered. I'm self-centered. I'm self-centered. And then, I'm self-centered. So it's an interesting joke. However, the reality is you are, because as much as we are taught and try to get out of our own reality and go live from somebody else's and look back at us from these external perspectives, the reality is we're still looking at it through us. And we're the only ones inside that can make the decision. The decision may feel like it's being made by the government, by your boss, by your family, by your spouse, by your children, by your education, by the limits in your body, by what's happened to you, what hasn't happened to you, by what wounds or badges that you carry on you. You know, I'm a this has happened to me, this terrible thing happened to me, and now I identify by it. Does it strengthen you? Are you in a healing phase with it? Is it key for you to say yes, to claim it because it was in the dungeon and hiding? Good. So all phases, all states from initial storm that we had here, just epic. I mean, I think we were hitting over 52 miles an hour. My coconut trees look like they were going to take off. They look like Dumbo's ears going like this. We have a new seawall. Hallelujah. I started this by saying thank God to knowing, actively increasing your intuitive skills, because all of the major decisions in my life for a very long time, easily over 20 years, and that's when I asked for a separation from a 25-year marriage and heading to a divorce because I knew I needed out, but I had to take it in phases. And so I lost everything. I went into bankruptcy. I lost 80 houses. I lost property. I lost um, my parents. My mother disowned me. So I was no longer allowed to go there. They gave houses and cars and presents for my kids directly to my ex. Nothing went through me. I literally had less than nothing. My ex started to get a team of lawyers to attack my real estate business so I couldn't sell anything and get the money from it. And if you look at it energetically, because was it difficult? Of course, we've all been through that. Then before that, my daughter died. Before that, my very first business, who did $1 million in sales the first year, and 3.5 years into it, I'm closing it down, get in a car accident. They think I break my neck. I get my first panic attacks. And I start on a spiritual journey where literally everything I believed and everything I knew deconstructed. And I had been what I thought was successful if I had just been able to sustain that path in that business and so on and so forth. And instead, I ended up with debt and, literally just walking away, just selling my condo in LA and going to New Mexico. And I didn't know why I went to New Mexico. I knew why I went to LA. I went there because I love the beach. I'd always my whole life wanted to live at the beach. And I had a fashion design degree. So it was New York or LA. And there was no question in my mind, I'm going to the warm place. However, from that point on, of course, every step we take, there's a sole reason in our path. So we have some key takeaways that we must come present to right now because we are entering the dragon year. And I'm going to talk about it a lot because the dragons won't leave me alone. I have more dragons in my life now than I've ever had. And they're phenomenal. The way they're coming through in all these different aspects, they're starting to remind me like nature spirits, like devas, like life force. Like there's the garden dragon cards I got, and they're like dragons for all these different flowers or plants, like a tomato plant and it's basically like, oh, is that the elemental or the deva, or is that an aspect of that deva? And does that deva, that life force that embodies that plant, have a blueprint in common with all the other plants of that species? And yet, is it individual too? And maybe is that the dragon spirit that lives inside of it? So we're just starting to wake up to who the hell we really are. We've been stumbling through the dark in low states of consciousness for so friggin' long. We wake up, we realize we're in this horribly imbalanced reality that we've accepted as okay, and we've learned to live within. So the family patterns, the ancestors, the beliefs, whether it's about money, about rich people, poor people, possibility. Some people think rich people are bad. And so if you make money, your mother won't love you. And then there's a past life or many that connect to that dynamic and why it's in your life. There's people who have families that push and push and push success. My children had a best friend growing up. She was Japanese, and her mother was so intent on pushing her to be perfect and the best, which is a common thing in the culture, that she was going to school. She was in on all the advanced programs in grade school. And then all evening, she was going to violin lessons and then this and that and that and that and that. And it was not one or two things. I took my kids to gym and to music and to, all these things and lots of art. It was the intensity, it was the amount of them, and it was the requirement to be perfect. She ended up graduating high school and attempting suicide 3 times, living almost homeless, and going in and out of obviously unhealthy relationships, let's put it that way, right? And disconnected from anybody that loved her and supported her. So I'm not saying that nobody should ever offer their children a chance for extracurricular activities or to excel at something, I'm saying, is their spirit asking for it or are you beating them into it? And will they all end up that way? No. However, I had a school for a while, and it was based on Waldorf, and Rudolf Steiner wrote some of the most enlightened books of people and how your spirit enters your body over time. And it isn't until 7, which is a very magical age, that the full spirit really finishes a connection. And all the phases under age 7 have these different aspects of the spirit connected to the body, but not all of them. So there's these beautiful opportunities for different things to come forward, for new experiences to come in, and for these sacred soul wounds and powers that live in your past lives to begin to integrate in the body mind unit. Okay. And so what happens for us is that we are a part of a soul. A soul is, we're just going to be really simple. We're going to just say that a soul is a blob of the infinite. So the infinite source, everything, the void, all that is, the field, whatever you want to call it. And it's actually chaos, which means there's no organization, there's no form. It's just everything. Okay. Just, we think chaos means, like the storm last night. And it can. However, chaos also means just lack of organization. And our minds, our logical minds, living in a timeline saying today, tomorrow, next minute, past, forward, gives us a container to experience a life within. That's fine. But we need to realize that it's just a container and that our spirit, our essence, is part of this soul, which is part of the infinite. So there's this big blob of infinite energy. Yeah. And what are we going to do? Well, this is you. This is what I call your soul. And your soul is filled with different life experiences or books or movies, whatever you want to imagine it as. And they all exist already. So past, present, future, to a certain point, future exists already. The near future has many timelines that have already become pretty tangible, pretty solidified, because people are thinking and acting in a certain way. And the more you think and act in a certain way every day, the more your reality is solidified into responding to you with, oh yeah, nobody likes me. Oh yeah, this didn't happen. Oh yeah, once again, I didn't get the raise. Whatever the reality is that you're projecting when you worry about, is this going to happen again? You are creating it. Yes, it is. Okay. So we have to become conscious creators. We have to realize we're multidimensional. What does that mean? Well, it means this physical body is built with a structure, and that structure is made of light, intention, and thought. And it's like this, and you're standing inside of it essentially. And it is, your chakras are part of this structure. And you have your aura, you've probably heard of, which is the field right here. And this is a field of intelligent energy that is the buffer between you, your physical right here reality, 3D, and then emotional body, mental body. That's the mind, the field of your mind. And your mind is filled with mindsets and beliefs, ideas and thoughts, and attachments to who did what to who, what your story is, what you were told, how you should be good, what should happen to make you good. You know, if you make money and you don't embarrass me and you don't get any speeding tickets and whatever, right? So we have paradigms within us in these layers, and we are only one aspect of this soul. So the life we're living right now, from all of the experience I've had over the past 36, 37 years, something, is traveling dimensions. Working with shamans and mystery schools was the key for me to bring everything else together. I've been reading every book I could from Jane Roberts, The Nature of Personal Reality. I used to read the Tibetan, deep esoteric stuff, tiny writing, big books, really old, written all cryptically, right? I studied radionics, and that's frequency medicine. And I began to learn it and work with people in Europe that had cured people of gangrene and everything that we don't think is possible with all our fancy new pharmaceutical technology. And all that really is doing, other than helping symptoms and putting bones back together, is creating a disease cycle that you're kept inside of. I saw miraculous healings, things that you would never believe. And almost none of it happened from what we think. It went from going to the cause, to the core, to these other parts of you. So you don't get a disease suddenly in your body. You may breathe toxins. There may be poisons in your water. That is one of the triggers from the physical realm that begins to create something, maybe cancer in your body. However, in order for you and not everybody else, because not everybody gets one disease, not everybody has one thing, not everybody has gotten COVID. I'm not vaccinated. I've never gotten COVID. I have my remedies. I have my vitamins and my medicines and my frequencies, and I have my energy work that I do. And I am 100%, almost 40 years into my conscious spiritual journey in this life, remembering who I am and the lifetimes that have powers, wounds, and stories that are most relevant to the pains, losses, and failures I've had, as well as to the successes, joys, and amazing things that I've had in this life. And we've all had both to some degree. Now, your perception may be that you have a hard life, that you're stuck. When you start to realize you're the only one inside here that can make a different choice. So you can come with me. You can do the classes, you can do the activations, you can come into my new Prosperity Magic Manifesting Mastermind that we're just getting ready to offer first to my students. And we are going to have an opportunity to be together every week, consistently going, this came up again, this worked, this didn't. What resource do I use for this? Which meditation is good for that? Real time, instead of waiting until you're fixed. The lives that we have lived in this soul all carry their own story. They carry wounds and losses, betrayals and fears. They carry successes, joys, happiness, love. They all carry a different choice, a different decision, a different agreement that becomes a karmic knot and a soul contract. A decision made at that level of your soul becomes embedded with passion and power, and this becomes what you might perceive as a block or a habit that keeps you from making money or keeping money or trusting yourself or speaking up or starting your business or whatever it is. So nothing that you experienced in this life is new. You didn't create any of it. The gallery of characters that you wrote into this life story were written in specifically to help you complete every single life in your soul's past. Now, I don't have numbers, but this has been revealed to me over time. As I began to do energy work, to learn meditation, to understand that there's these other realms to us and that we have many lives, not one life, so that reincarnation is true. I struggled with that for many years. These were not concepts that were easy to understand. There was no internet, there were no YouTube, there were no 8 million teachers, and there was mostly only very old books written in very difficult language. And when you first are coming into these other realms of understanding, there's no language that makes sense to you. And we find a language that we agree on, but we cannot explain how we feel. I can't, you can't fully, unless we go to an intuitive level. We go out of the physical, the mind, the logic, the thought, the brain, even the mind part that says, oh, I have a big brain and a degree and I have these processes and I know what to do. I encourage you, no matter what you do, to keep expanding your self-exploration into the realms of your sacred feminine. The sacred feminine arts is for everyone. It's not for women. There's different skills and affinities that you have depending on your body. However, we are evolving so fast that since we started this call, you already have evolved. And some of the things I've said have triggered, have gone down through neural pathways in your brain, have gone into certain habits, gone into your meridians. I see several of you, them going down your arms. They come through energy fields. They come through the mind, and then they enter through the chakras, and then they come into the auric field, which has its own DNA and its own systems, rivers and flows and veins. And then these are things that are triggering memories for you. Guess what's happening right now? We're entering the year of the dragon. This is a year of massive power, new growth, and creativity. That means you could be prosperous as living shit this year. And if you don't master your own energy and get out of craving, the energies you bring into that power that you're going to be given an opportunity to create with this year is going to get infected with fear and craving and disappointment and blame and shame and anger and victimhood. And it goes all the way to the core of what you're building. So the success you have will have toxic energies in it, will attract people who have that energy. You will keep experiencing those kinds of relationships or blocks with your money, fears about yourself that are attached to those states. I want to be as clear as possible. You have a cleaning job to do. You have a listening job to do. And you have a co-creative process to get into, because as being the pinnacle, you are the life of your soul alive right now on the evolutionary edge. 3 years into the metamorphosis, the grand societal reset, and this is the breakdown phase, still breaking down our paradigm. How do we work? How do we think? What do we think is valuable? Can we see through the liars? More hackers than ever, but they're so obvious. People desperate, people grabbing. This noise, almost just more and more and more and more, and craving and keeping you into this cycle by the news or the Facebook or the ads or anything and everything. Everything is vying for attention. Everything is screaming because nobody has felt fulfilled. Nobody has felt seen. Nobody has felt heard. And the separation from the center and the truth of who you are is phenomenal. So the center of your truth is what we're going to go to today. And I want to offer these readings because we're getting ready to do the Sacred Soul Power class. So I invite you to come and join us. You just go over to the shop. I'm going to need to take a sip of water here. And I want you to, there's a payment plan if you need it. If you have questions, just email us or contact me in whatever way you know how to reach out to me. And do you have to have done Heal the Mother Wound and Prosperity Magic to do this class? No, that's one of the questions I've had. Do you have to have experience in my classes or with me? No. The work I do is multidimensional and timeless. I work with you on the place that you're at, designed right now too, within the sacred chamber and the processes. And I teach you how to create the energy chamber, how to cleanse and clear yourself, how to activate your light body, how to do all these things that need to be a basic part of your life every single day. I give you processes for every aspect of what we're learning, which is accepting your multidimensional being, realizing that you've been held back or you fear or your blocks and the painful experiences or the successful experiences or the relationships that maybe you're still attached to. Every single thing that has played out in your life to this point has been karmic, and it's you completing patterns for other lives in your soul, because If you want to move forward, if you're like, I freed myself, I cured myself of my fears, I never go down to fear states anymore, I live in my own reality, I create from my own vision, I am my own creator. That's what we do in my world. This is my planet. I'm continuing to clear the environment in my planet, right? Those toxic thoughts, those toxic emotions. You will realize that you have the power right now in this very moment to change everything. How long it changes, when it changes, what changes, nobody knows, not even you. But when you go in and you make these changes, then you realize your life, your thoughts, what you really like, what you were told you couldn't have, which is direct access to source, to God, to Gaia, to your health, to the disease in your body, just to talk to it, go ahead, send it what it needs. Probably needs a little bit of love because it's somewhere in your mind saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. And then it manifests as cancer. Okay. And that's just a really simple underlying energy to what happens. So, what are the key things happening in your life right now? If you want to share in the chat, that would be great. Challenges or big, amazing joys. Okay. What are the key shifts you're noticing? The storm yesterday told me, and the elementals, I work with them every day. I talk to Gaia, I talk to all these guides and spirits and realms. I travel through them day and night. I'm doing it now. I'm going to do it for you. I teach you how to do that in this class, how to access your own higher self, the body elemental or intelligence that lives and cares for the physical body, but is like a deva. It's like a nature spirit for your body. This is a very important part of you that you need to acknowledge, recognize, clear, and free to talk to you. Find out where is the intuitive pathway you can receive. All right. You need to connect with Gaia, Mother Earth, non-loom, whatever aspect of that, because your body is made out of that. And on a physical realm, also, Gaia is the primordial divine mother creator, or the void, or everything, or God, goddess, or God, or whatever aspect you relate to. So it's like relating to the all, remembering I'm made of everything. I'm one with everything. Everything that my soul wanted is imprinted within me. Everything my soul has feared, all the decisions I made when I died, in every life when I died, there was a crisis moment, there was a sad moment, there was a bliss moment, something happened. There were so many traumatic lives where people died realizing that they had caused pain, suffering, or death for people they loved, for their village, as a king or a ruler, that they had misused their power or their fortune. All these different lives within you and within each of us, we each have a different one, but we all have them, made a decision at the end of life. And that is imprinted, embedded so deeply within your everything, your light body, okay? All these layers, that it might be the first thing you respond with. Maybe you get panic attacks. Maybe I got panic attacks from that experience I told you about, and that was extremely karmic. That was the first step of interrupting my path, was to stop me moving forward in the fashion design business. I could have kept going in that a long time and made money, lost money, struggled, whatever, enjoyed it. But now I can see that wasn't the optimal path for my soul. So your soul, your spirit, is encoded to know when to interrupt your pattern and get you back on track. Then you need to understand your higher self, because that part understands more of your blueprint, your purpose, can see from a higher perspective, and you can go up and sit there with her. And then I want you to understand that you have an I am presence. This is another layer of your beingness, your light body, that has an even higher access. It's like the highest access to knowing everything about you, remembering the meetings when you created your soul blueprint, remembering your missions, remembering your soul powers, and has full awareness along with your Akashic Records keeper and your soul blueprint guide. So these are embedded in chakras and different aspects of you. And when I teach you how to get there, how to go there, how to access them, then you go into the past lives as relevant to what's happening in the moment. Okay. So past lives are really fun and a little shocking sometimes, absolutely transformational from the second you have a real experience, you're having the experience. You will never, ever, 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 ever be able to deny it or go back. Or it will take effort to deny it because the experience you have is a full body or sensory in whatever way you're currently open to that experience, connection with that life. It means you stepped back into that time path, right? You stepped back in to the realm, the story, the fear, the bliss, the confidence. So we've traditionally now, I call it traditionally, but I didn't really know about past lives. I started learning about all this stuff at my big breakdown and wanted to understand whatever and every weird thing and how do you leave your body and how do you meditate and what's over there and you name it. I was learning about it. And what happened was traveling these realms and then learning you can get entities attached to you and you can get very ill. They can possess you. And I've had this happen in the jungle here. Hence, I learned a lot of Mayan magic, a lot of Aztec magic, a lot of multidimensional magic, forest, jungle magic, and became a jaguar medicine woman. And that's all happened because it was part of my path. My guides somehow got me here. I never would have come here. I never knew any of this. I had a complete breakdown, lost everything again, didn't know what to do, and landed here for a few months trying to decide where to go, was going to travel the world. And 8 years later, I live here. I love it. I'm a part of it. The Mayan culture has come alive in my body, my soul. I know more than a lot of the people who studied it. I've been to almost every site. I take people to them. We do activations. We go to caves. I have friends who are ceremony people. I'm learning ancient recipes for healing. We're putting together a book as fast as we can to gather this wisdom and knowledge. And my partner, the same. It wasn't just for me. He awakened on a path, and it came through a breakdown. It came through a breakthrough of that reality that you're chasing is not the one for you. And for us, part of it was workaholism at that point. So every step, every breakdown that you've had is a massive soul portal opening. There is nothing you did wrong because that was the best way for your soul to guide you through to another level of your ascension. You're here to move these patterns forward. You're here to realize the ones. So one of the processes we're going to do is to recognize, realize, and clear all the dead weight that you've already processed, because all of you have been doing a lot of work and yet you don't really have the ability yet to realize you're still carrying a lot of old habits and patterns and thoughts and goop and energy and so on. Now, these other lives have wounds and they make these decisions when they die, and they become soul contracts. And they become a contract that says, I will never, ever, ever have money again because fill in the blank. I've seen so many lives like this in so many sessions. I've seen my lives. Wow, I've had epic money lives. Wealthy, poor, everything in between, killed for it, tortured for it, taken away, controlled by it. I've had it all. And I came into this life, and at one point I was like, what is the friggin' deal with the money? I can make it. I can focus. I can do it. I can do it. And I can work hard. Yay me. I'm doing it right. And I'm doing it all wrong because I'm doing it the way that I was taught and conditioned to please the world here. That exhausts me because I'm not using my skills. I'm not using my intuitive skills. I'm not connecting to my other lives that already know, have this skill, went to that school, did this job, want to be a part of the co-creative brainstorming process, knows how to travel time and go get these things for me. So that's my assistant. These other lives you have in your soul have all kinds of power. And yes, some are still going to be having some wounds. And you need to know those too, because they're the same ones you're stuck on. So you might have been like, I shed that and I shed that and I shed that and I don't have that. And I'm so glad I'm not connected to that. And that's kind of where I am. But I'm very aware that there's still shit floating around in me. I still get triggered by stuff, and I step into it Immediately, I look at the spiritual weather coming forward and I say, dragon year, oh, eclipse, what's the energy for that? Oh, go to this site. Okay, I listen to spirit. If they say go to Greece on this time, I go. If they say get into a cave, be with Mother Earth, cleanse and purify before the equinox, then go to this shaman and so on, I do it. And I do it because when I look back now, I can consciously see every good thing and every door on the other side of the pain and the fear and the breakthrough that I couldn't find the answer for, that I was stuck in those lower states of craving and wishing and blame and anger, because that's what those are embedded in. And it requires force to get out of those, to think out of those, to get enlightened, which is why we need the camaraderie, the alliance, the allies that are already in our soul. Who knows us better? We all have the same soul goal. The missions we each carry have some things in common with each other. The fears we carry have some things in common with each other. So everything you've created in this life that you now hate or that has caused you pain, loss, fear is from another life or many other lives. You might remember one life that is sort of like the representative of all the lives that carry that particular pattern. And that pattern is about the fear of speaking up and always getting sick. And you had your head chopped off 3 times and you were gagged. And then you were literally just manipulated and controlled and blackmailed to not speak your truth, or you were threatened or killed for using your voice to sing or to inspire people or to heal people. We saw this amazing movie this weekend called Wish. It's a Disney animated movie based on the song When You Wish Upon a Star. I want to cry. Makes no difference who you are. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. I found this silly little animated movie so powerfully moving because it was a little bit in your face, representing this world we're coming from, this over inflated, imbalanced, masculine, patriarchal attitude. I'm in charge. I'll decide what's best for you. I'm the authority, whether it's the church or the government or the school or the family or every other structure on the planet. And we're programmed to give our authority away. And this is talking about taking it back. Well, how much easier is it when you have all these other parts of you, aspects that can stand by your side and say, I know exactly how you feel. Aspects that stand by your side that say, I freed myself of that. I'm not afraid. Let's move forward. Let's go through that dark door. Let's go into that cave. Let's free ourselves from this pattern once and for all, because when you're stuck in a pattern, you're giving that back to the world. You're feeding it into this reality in this now moment. And I don't want any of it either. We also don't need to fear our past lives or the wounds they carry, because they hold the answers, the experience, the wisdom. They're going to have emotions just like we would. They're going to have PTSD and some other form of who knows what. Some of them don't know they died, and they're still stuck in this in-between zone. So they can never move forward. And it's like carrying, it's like your whole arm just going numb and never working again, but you have to drag it around, and it actually becomes a burden. So when we go in and we connect to these lives, we free them and we free you from these patterns. We find the relevant pain and patterns, whether they're ancestral, whether they're karmic, whether they're, what are they for? Money, they hold you back from full health and sexuality, or they hold you back from just speaking up in your relationships, or they hold you back from stepping away from the place you live because you want to go try something new and have adventure in your life. There's so much your soul wants and can experience and needs to experience in order to open your codes of who you are. So that when you come to the retreats and when you come to the classes, you get to go deep and find some of these keys and codes, and they become the touch points. So you're going to learn how to go to these lives, and then how to communicate with them, and how to continue to develop a relationship with them over time, and help them, and then have them help you. And now you begin to have this council, this mastermind. But this mastermind is made up of you, and then you have your spirit guides, and you have your elementals, right? Your higher self and your body elemental, and all those aspects that hold your codes and your blueprint and help you animate the reality here, help you manifest into the reality. Now you're starting to have a more complete picture of who you are and what you came here to be. And from that perspective, you do not have to do anything alone. When you surrender to the fact that you have everything you need within you, that you already know, you're here on a fully funded mission. You have guides, spirits, angels, devas, rocks, jaguars, kitties, places, vortexes, whatever, as well as all these other parts of your soul. But we were cut off from them. It was like we were all locked in separate rooms and padded rooms, and we weren't allowed to know that there were other parts of us, and we weren't allowed to talk directly to God, and we weren't allowed to heal directly with a plant, and we weren't allowed, right? And so this show that we saw was interesting because several things begin to happen. The intention was good at first. I don't want anybody else to have this pain I've had. My whole family died. So the king built a kingdom, and he built it from love with his wife. And he built it for people to come who had a wish, who had a dream to be free and never hurt and never feel that their dream die or not come fulfilled. And so he had them. He was a great sorcerer. He basically, what that means is he'd mastered time and space. He'd mastered these principles that I teach. And he was able to take their wishes, and he said, give me your wish and I will safeguard them. And then I will make sure through my powers that they come true. And once a month, we'll have a wish granting ceremony, and we'll all celebrate, and I'll grant someone's wish. So it sounds wonderful because the intent was built that way. But then what creeped in, and the story is telling us, is what has creeped into us is that we went from enjoying the support and the help of a structure of a family or a culture or having authority outside yourself and needing to belong. Because yes, there's been many lives you've lived where if you were outcast, I had a life where my mother and father now were my mother and father now, and my sister now was my sister now, which is interesting. They're often there, but they're not usually the same roles. And we lived in a very small village in a forested area that was extremely remote. Barely anybody knew we lived there. Barely anybody ever came by. And it got very cold. The forest was dense, dark, and it snowed. And what happened in this life was one of the core past life stories for my life now. So when you find your core past life story, you open up a window to so many things that you've had happen in this life that it's almost shocking, really and truly. So the experience of having the knowledge and being able to see it and go there and experience and feel it and see the moments and see the village. And essentially, I wasn't like others, kind of like now. I was different than the family. So I was outcast in little ways, like you're weird, go away. You didn't do your job right. You didn't come and do your chores. And everything was based around chores. And I didn't like chores. I liked to play, and I liked to go to the forest and talk to the fairies and dance. And I grew up that way, and I loved the children. So as I grew up, they started to put me in charge of the children, and I would go to the forest and I would dance and sing and like little Pied Piper. And we'd go in and we'd play with the fairies, and we'd make art, and we'd play with the earth, and we'd come back at night. And it was a wonderful life. And one day I was asked to, I can't remember why right now. Anyway, one day I left the village. I was wandering. So I was by myself in the woods, and I was wandering and singing and talking to the fairies, and I entered the fairy realm, and I went too far, and I came out somewhere else. And I was very far from my village, and I was very innocent, and I didn't understand people are not well-intentioned. And these men on horses, which we would call like banditos, like the pirates that would wander the forest and rob people. And I didn't know. So they were like, well, hello, who are you? And they asked me a lot of questions, and I happily answered them all. And where are you from? And where's your village? Well, what does it look like? And where is it? And how do we find it? And by the time I made my way back, they had gone to my village and rape and pillaged it, and things were burning, and people were there, and they had all the children cornered in one area and were threatening to kill them. And I wandered in, like, guess what happened to me? And they were like, they told everybody that I was the one who told them where they were. So naturally, the whole village didn't like me. Um, there was a whole drama with them killing the children, and my dramas with having children in this life, trying for 8 years, having my daughter, having her die, adopting my twins. That's all that stuff. If you have any story on that, that's all rooted in past lives. I needed to come and heal that inability to have, because they took these children from me, and they took them in a way where I couldn't fix it. And the same thing happened with my daughter Jordan. I kept having dreams after she died of having a baby, and then it shrinking and not being able to keep it alive, or losing it, or it falling, or something where I couldn't keep it. I couldn't hold on to it. So the agreements, the decisions in these painful lives, in these places where you were tortured or killed, or your beloved betrayed you, these are all the opportunities for these deep embedded wounds that say, don't ever speak up, don't have money, it's not safe. If you have money or power, you'll become corrupt like them. It's better to just be poor. Don't rock the boat. If someone starts to threaten you, the people closest in your life probably know the exact things to say and do, whether they're conscious of it or not, to control and manipulate you to stay the same, to stay listening to them and doing things that they want. And everybody wants everybody else to do things their way so that they don't feel fearful, that they don't trigger their own fears. And the problem is now is everything's falling apart. Everybody's fears being triggered. And it's a beautiful thing, because everybody has to walk into their shadow. Everyone has to walk into this cave. It's where our power is. So when we go in with our loving heart and we're able to connect to these lives, and we're able to give them new endings, we're able to free them, and we free ourselves. We free that into our own timeline and into our own soul, to all the other lives. We free that into the Akasha. And now everyone, everywhere, and anytime can access that freedom. That's how powerful this is, whether you do it for yourself, but then you do it for us, and then you do it for all of time, all of your other parts of you, all of the ancestors or lineages you've ever cared about. Now, remember, your DNA, your bones, your bodies of many lives on this planet are still here somewhere, buried. So they hold powers, they hold wisdom. They were in schools of great knowledge. They maybe knew how to handle money and not become greedy and evil. They may know how to, maybe you were a psychiatrist, maybe you became a master healer with herbs, maybe you were the priestess of Isis, maybe you were, I don't know what, maybe you were an accountant, and you know how to do money now, and you understand numbers, and they speak to you. Maybe you were a gardener in Atlantis, like a lot of my clients have Atlantis lives. We all do, and more than one. It was around quite a while. And so this gardener in this life came to a retreat. We went to the pyramid. We all went to Atlantis, and everybody saw a job they had in Atlantis. But it was from the Atlantis perspective, at a higher perspective. I work with crystals, but I work with them. They talk to me, I talk to them, we program them, they show me how energy fields work, and that kind of thing. I talk to the plants are co-creating with me. So those are the things we want to bring back now. Those are the powers that I want you to remember. And when you give yourself permission to reconnect to these lives, you're going to notice that you free one and you may integrate it a little bit, maybe sad or cry for a few days and go into your fear or have to nurture yourself. And then you come out and you feel more confident or strong, or maybe something about just understanding that this was a decision you made. And now you've both unwritten that contract. So I'm going to show you in the class how to unbind a binding spell, how to unwrite a soul contract, how to unravel a karmic knot, and the other aspects of how these are embedded within you that keep you living aligned to those fear-based decisions. Now, there's nothing to be angry about, because you did it to save yourself, to help yourself. It's part of your soul's path of growth. However, when you go to a life that died as a slave, and I've shared this before, so there's a client of mine that now can stop time in real time, because we went to these lives in private sessions, and we'll be doing this in the class. You can also do these in private sessions. And we went to this life that was a slave, and the slave ran away and planned to run away with her love, who was also a slave. And they ran away separately, escaped, and they planned to meet, and he never showed up. we found out in this regression, past life regression, so to speak, we really traveled there, so whatever you want to call it, that he was killed. He was caught and he was killed, and he was tortured to find out what happened to her as well. But she didn't know that. She just had to live and then die with not knowing. Did he die? Did he abandon me? Did he lie to me? Did he betray me? The love broken, the heart broken, the dreams, the wishes of what could be, the life of the potential of that life that came in that never got fulfilled. And that's what you're freeing yourself in these lives for, is to be able to now move forward in that life to a new timeline, to a new story, to access their powers and wisdom from everything they went through, to unwrite, to complete that contract, to graduate, to whatever way you want to think of it, and then to take who they are and move forward. And pretty soon, instead of all these big bundles of dark stuff you're dragging around in your soul every day, this one's walking with you and this one's walking with you. And pretty soon you have 5 and 6 of you, and you're exploding the past behind you, and you're walking out like the superhero, and you're walking, and that isn't even bothering you because you're like, I am free. We are together. We've conquered our wounds. We know time isn't real, and we've freed ourselves. And you're the one that's the leader of the pack. That's what's kind of friggin' cool. So when that life, she went to a cave and ended up dying, trying to escape the way she had planned, because it really took 2 people. It was very dangerous. Everything that was happening in that life, the reason it comes to you is because it's 100% relevant to what's happening in your life right now. So it isn't to just go, oh, I want to see if I was a happy person who got married and was in love forever. If that's relevant to you now, you have had that. And if you're having that now, or you're wishing for it, I'm sure that there's a part of it, right, that you're accessing. That's what's fun. You don't have to know. The other thing is, though, is that you have the ability to simply give yourself permission. Okay? I'm ready and willing. I'm open and receptive to reconnect as is optimal for my highest good in each moment to these other aspects of my life, to the wounds and the powers, to co-create, to assist, to share. You have things they need. They have things you need. You come to rescue them because you can operate through time, and they're stuck in their moment of death, or they're stuck in their timeless moment of not knowing they died, or they're maybe stuck in a story that you're playing out now that's causing them to just stay focused into that story. Okay? And these are all a part of your energy field. So now, if you have accessed a part of you that makes you feel like you're undeserving and unworthy, if you access a part of you that's afraid to ask for money, afraid to manage money, afraid that you're no good with money, or others will take your money, any of those, because there's a lot of those. There's past lives that want to connect with you. And if they've had an experience of great wealth and then being killed for it, or if they've had an experience of great wealth and being highly, highly intelligent with how they invested it, how and what they used it for, if they were a beneficial ruler, understanding power, money, and the well-being of others, and that actually as a ruler, it isn't about you. It is about you being the only one that knows how to hold the power, which includes money, voice, everything, and be able to disseminate it for the highest good of all. We all want that for our own lives. We want to become the ruler. We want to become the center. We want to become the authority again. And that's what this time is for. The age of Aquarius is massive independent spiritual, also massive technology and growth in all these realms. So we're going to expand so fast that you don't need to toil and suffer and struggle. But you do have to free yourself from these old paradigms, because thinking that way will just cause you to be beat up. It's like going down the rapids, holding on to all this baggage that's just beating the shit out of you because you won't let go. You just got to friggin' let go of it. And then those bags open, and what floats out of it is the gems, the wisdom, the wise elder that's within you, the young, creative, full of innocence and life force that's within you. This life she had to do it 12 times. I told her, find a different ending to this life, that she doesn't die. And they went down this way and they went this way and they went that way. And she did this and she did that. And I watched everything. And then she found one and she says, we did it. I said, well, now what? So now she's standing there with this other life, this young slave girl who was probably 15 or 16 or something, who was in her soul holding that broken heart, the fears of being enslaved, the anger of having your freedom taken away, of being limited. Think about all the different energies, the psyche of that life, not just the living of it and the reality of it, but then the ending of it, the uncertainty, trusting people. So now they're standing and it's like a new day dawns and they're looking at this horizon and they realize by looking at each other, oh my gosh, look what we just did. It's like waking up from a storm at night where you just don't think you're going to survive. It's never going to end. It's never going to end. Save me, free me. I'm so done. Make it stop. And suddenly you stand up. So after some of the things we do, which is to anchor the connection, get some more information, complete the contracts, do other work, they both moved forward in their own timelines. Now, in her timeline, my client here, she's able to do this. She starts falling in the bathroom and she was going to hurt herself pretty bad. And she did exactly what I had her do there, was freeze the story and look around. You're the timeless one. You're the pinnacle soul life. You're the one with these powers. Look around, freeze everything. Where is there another path? Could you go a different direction? Could you go this way? Could you go that way? That's called being in the present moment. And that's what we learned in the class we just finished, is how to get in and to create and to become one with, so that it is flowing through our meridians and our cells and our veins and every aspect of our light body all the time. The peaceful, powerful, prosperous present moment. When you do that, she was able to actually look, okay, if I fall this way, I'll hit my head. If I fall that way, I'll hit my hip. If I fall this way, I'll hit my elbow. And she could choose which way to angle her body mid-fall, which for us in our time reality says happened like that. There's no time. Here's what happens when you pull your hand off a stove. The scientists have even proven that signal does not go from the hot stove to your body, up here to the brain, round and round, decision made, back down, pull it away. By then you would have no finger. It actually goes back in time, triggers it so that it's almost instantaneous. And if you get really good with your intuition, you will know beforehand and not go down that road, not trigger that thought, not create that cancer, not have that accident. Nothing happens without the energies leading to it. And now you have wisdom, gems, you're both freeing your power, you're using your new energy, and you have more of you now coming forward. Okay, I love this stuff. It's so wonderful. All right, let me catch up. I know you guys have been talking. Hi, Maureen. Hi, Patricia and Lucille. Hi, beautiful Sonal. We tried all that joining activities with my son, and one day he just blew because he wanted to play with his friends instead. I was just too much for his little self. Yes, and if they're drawn to something, honestly, this is the way school should be. You come to school and nobody tells you what to do. You wander around and you go, what's that? What's that? What's that? And you do whatever you want until you decide what you want to do. And then you ask. And when you ask, they do whatever they can to make it happen. There are schools like that. I want to become an astronaut. Okay, we're going to take you to NASA and we're going to get you videos about astronauts and we're going to talk to this and we're going to, okay, over here we have some models and over here you can start learning about the science of it. And here you can realize what you have to do to become an astronaut. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Okay. And it's not the way. Our schools are incredibly archaic. Memorize a bunch of facts about old people who don't matter. Are you kidding me? No. Teach science, literally teach science and physics that's not true anymore just because you have the books. Hell no. Right? So finding something they're passionate about. But I took my kids, they learned guitar, trumpet, piano, all kinds of music as babies. They went to gyms, and the only thing they really went forward with on their own was the music and writing and art. So, okay, finances. Learning to love myself for myself. This is the key. I seem to have a lot of money blocks. I go through spells of very silent in my business. Yes, and I totally understand it. I mean, the past life patterns around money that are possible to uncover are mind-boggling. I had been struggling with this, making a lot of money, losing it in some way, sometimes 3 years, sometimes 10 years, whatever. And kept going deeper into the story. What's underneath that? What's underneath that? What's happening here? And then just in the last few years, I discovered that I had lives where I had been in debtor's prison. And that was a whole different energy to realize. Hiding, a lot of hiding and wanting to reveal my truth, but afraid that to lose the little I have, family, finances, and love. Yes, 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 Lisa, right? Finances, but deeper, I shy away from my power and capabilities to be seen in my full self. Yes. And that, what you're talking about, Lisa, is a lot of what's come up in classes, is the idea that there's something that you've agreed to in this life and in other lives. It's the reason it's showing up into this life, where you can't make money. So if you have a bankruptcy agreement, or if you're on welfare, or if you have, I don't know, some alimony, I don't know, or somebody is helping you pay the bills, and then you realize that if you go out and make your own money, you might not make enough, but it might mean one of those will stop helping you. Now you've been enabled to be helpless and powerless. Like you said, to lose the little friends, family, money I have. I'm not saying I want it to happen to you in a hard way, but if you don't use the energies of change and move through those yourself, then the breakdown can be really epic, and it has to happen. The breakdown could be you deciding and moving and crying the whole time you're packing your bags, and hugging your former lover and walking out the door saying, I still love you, but I know I need to go and I don't know why, and I'm going to go wander around for a while. I don't know. Like, I'm just literally, we have to stop trying to control everything, right? This is great. Thank you for sharing. Hi, Britt. For me, it's money, 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 my own money. I know my gifts and capabilities. I just haven't experienced locking into them and turning the door to wealth. I do not want to be a slave to corporate America. I'm with you there. Never worked there. I have one daughter right now really struggling because she doesn't want a corporate job, and she doesn't want to go back to school anymore. So she's really like thinking of going for a really mundane job just to get the center and get that flow, right? And then we can brainstorm and co-create things around it, because she already has a pet sitting business and she has a lot of skills in art and different things like that. So we could maybe build a multiple income streams that suits her and feeds her truth and her personality as she develops in this time of metamorphosis, because we're falling apart. So we have to realize everything we create right now is something that's being created in the grand transformation. So as it rises up, it might be birthing from something falling apart and shedding. And it also might be showing itself for the first time. And it may only grow for a year, and then it will lead you to something else. So don't get too tuned into, you have to find the one solution for the whole world right now, or this will take too long. Get the steps done that give you freedom. Number one, get a passport. Everybody should have a passport. It shouldn't even be a question. How you could live in my life, how you could live without knowing that you could get up in 1 minute and walk out of wherever you live if you needed to. Please, okay? Please. So much wisdom, Nan. Love Disney movies. Oh my gosh, that movie. I could go on and on about that movie. I want to get to the readings, but the movie was, wow. I mean, seriously, I'm going to have to rewatch it because I was a little bit stunned. Of course, there was a wonderful female lead because they're about empowering women more now. I don't like Disney movies because they're evil. People are really, really creepy and evil. And my kids just couldn't even handle them. And so this guy, this king, who starts out being this beautiful, benevolent king who really in his heart wants to help people, ends up controlling everybody's dreams, and he takes them away from them and they can't remember them. And they basically become just exactly like the world right now. They become plugged into the matrix. They become slaves to what they're told to do. They don't have a dream. They don't feel like they can dream and they could work towards something different. They're just doing their thing, but they've been told that this is good. You have this life, and you can be the guy who makes the cookies of my head, the king, and you can be the person. You have a role. We have a town. We're happy. And this young girl goes to be his apprentice and discovers what he's done and discovers that the underlying energy of it and realizes it's wrong and starts to fight it. So in the end, the queen is in charge. The matriarchy is reinstated. The young girl is the hero and brings freedom and breaks the spell, is the one who can go direct to the stars and calls a wishing star in and frees people's dreams again. So, wow, that's the short story of the power of it. And it was incredibly impactful to really show, listen, wake up. You've given your dreams away. Most people don't even know what they are or believe they can have them. And I want to connect you. I want you to connect you to them. Hi, Amy. Woo! Gosh, Amy's always in my head. Grease is just going around in my head nonstop right now. And I keep seeing Amy's beautiful eyes and her beautiful smile. Elise, I've been living with my soul saying, see me, I'm here, and you don't have to hide anymore. That is no longer your story, Nan. Thank you for sharing. Absolutely. I hope I get a little stressed because I'm like, oh, you have to get forward, you have to move forward. But then the stories are relevant and they're really important. They were the most important thing to me in my beginning. My first deconstruction, I had no idea. I had no one in my life or my family who had any religious or spiritual training. I had nobody who understood any of this. I didn't have a magical aunt or anything. And so it was the stories of people's real true breakdowns and then how they found their way out of it, how they turned their pain and their loss into happiness, power, and purpose. And more than that, I liked the teachers because I didn't realize I was one. And I wanted to turn my pain and my pain into power. And that ability to show you that it's not just possible, but it's possible for you. And my path and someone else's path will give you clues, but you have to find your own path. So that's why we have to empower you to connect to your own people, your own self, right? Oh, wonderful. Thank you. I'd love to proofread your books. Thank you. It's kind of a volunteer job. I just want to clarify that. I think if I made a mistake of saying I'm looking to hire editors, it's not the possibility at the moment. However, I just said that, and I'm having so many of my beautiful class offer. So I'm going to, we're putting everything together on the Prosperity Magic class, and we're seeing, I don't think it's huge job, but it's really a wonderful thing, I think, to have feedback and co-creation. And I keep getting bombarded with so much information that I need to channel. And I need, like Edgar Casey, he had this lady who would transcribe what he said. Like, I can speak it and we can transcribe it with AI now. However, we have to do something else. This, my Genevieve. Hi, beautiful. Oh, I love all you guys. Listen, this stuff lights me up too. I know, Brittany, you're such a mystery girl. You are just the out of all my students, you're one of probably 5 that really resonate with the mysteries, like really have that inner secret knowledge. And it just comes right out of you when you step into it and people are drawn to you. I'm still unable to move forward physically with the residual pain from the Lyme disease, which is gone. That's excellent, sweetheart. So, if it's gone, then you're doing your job in this life, right? To free that and whatever the toxins are in forms of agreements or fears, beliefs, blocks, and whatever that come from these other lives. So thank you for turning your pain into power. Oh, you're so welcome. I too would love to proofread if you need. Oh, very sweet, you guys. Okay, good. So we were, oh my gosh, so much time goes by and then I get all stressed that it's too much time. Okay, I have to quickly look at my calendar so I can I want to get you guys some readings. I think I have a session. Okay, good. We have a little time. Excelente. So give me 1 second here. If everybody wants to just relax and breathe and share anything else here that's coming up for you as we talk about these different lives and the way that we're structured and how important it is to understand that you don't have to geek out on the sacred science and stuff like I do about the energies and how they talk and the structure of your light body and all that, but just understanding that you have these layers to you and they're filled with wisdom. They're also filled with fears, and everything that you need is here and everything you're looking for is here within you. And then you can access groups like this, processes, divine guides, herbs, incense, whatever. I have this peppermint here, so I'm going to just open that and give us some peppermint. Oh, there's some energy. That's some good energy. Oh my goodness. Makes me want to eat it. It's not the eating kind though. So I'm going to get a sip and then I'm going to dive in and we'll see. I'm not going to even try to decide or explain how the format will be. So as many of you know, as students of mine, we come together in the classes. The Prosperity Magic class is still, of course, it's available. And we're going to have a reunion. We're putting it together. Many people are commenting. We've got a lot of movement and shifts happening. We want to keep the momentum going. And so if you join that class or the next one, you get to be a part of that. But also, I am going to really am interested in looking at the interest of a 6 to 8 month prosperity magic mastermind, manifesting mastermind. And so the details, the structure, the pricing, all of that, just reach out to me right now because I want to talk to the people that are already doing this work with me first, and then just see what unfolds, what people say to find the structure. So like I said in the beginning, if you start to listen within, even if you're trying to force something to happen and you realize, oh, I was forcing that from habit, you go down and make your decisions from intuition. You will walk through the pain with more joy, more fun, more purpose. You will see the powers that are in it. You will be led to your soul places and to guides and to shaman and to jaguar spirits, kangaroos, whoever it is. And the money is in the energy that you carry in that place, in that moment. And it isn't separate from you because it is an ally. And so it depends on the value you hold for yourself. So what I want to do in the mastermind is have a community where we walk together, we're supporting each other, we're sharing honestly and authentically. We celebrate and structure and strategize everything you're doing, you're moving in and out of. We're doing the energy work, the processes. We're learning more and more of the magic and how to work with these energies and how to wake up to these other lives and wake up to our powers and to respond differently and to create differently. And the outcome, the intent is to make you the divine center authority, creating the reality that you came here to, which is a very different shift from the way most people perceive themselves right now. Okay, good. All right, give me 1 second here. I think I'm going to... Okay, so past life powers and readings, that's what we're doing. And we're going to have another call on this topic next week on the 13th. So make sure you come back. We're going to do more. And the class starts on the 15th. So I hope you'll join us. Watching people be ill or die and have no control over it or their choices. What's coming up for you? Yes, I have situations in my family right now that are pretty horrific, I guess, when you think about how people can die. And I see everything as soul and karma, and I'm doing the energy work from here and watching. the patterns and doing what I can with my energy to love and assist the transition to give the energy that I can give, but they have to choose to take it. So all you can do is give that energy that will make it easier to process or let go, to complete or release. And, I'm supposing, we'll all still die in these bodies. We don't have to, but we also can consciously go in and out of bodies, and we don't have to go into the next life unconscious. And the further that we get along in our consciousness means we can take that epic moment of death and use it for a massive ascension leap instead of a massive fear-based horror show. All right. So, okay. So give me one moment. I have to run get a tissue. I have no tissues here. Clear my throat. Breathe. We'll light a little incense, and then I will come in. We're going to go into some kind of a temple, I believe, as a group, and you're going to start to feel and sense that you're connecting to those parts of you. So they're showing me right now that that's already happening. Thank you very much. And you can close your eyes, or you can breathe, you can relax. You can hold in your heart your readiness, your willingness to receive a connection, a message, some medicine, an answer to whatever life it is that holds the power that's most relevant for you in this moment. All right, good, my loves. I so love all your comments and your interacting and your willingness to look into these topics. So we call on the sacred sage, this white sage, and this beautiful soft Palo Santo, this sacred tree, the wisdom and medicine released in here, the sacred smoke that protects, cleanses, and clears us as we enter this sacred space. We ask to enter this sacred temple of the infinity healing, aligned with our highest good and that which is optimal for each of us at this time. We call on the grandmothers of timeless, ageless wisdom, prosperity, and dream weaving. We call on the tides, we call on the waters and the elementals, the angelic realms, the nature spirits, the devas, the animal spirit guides, Gaia and Delphine, the life force flowing and living in our beautiful Mother Earth. We call on Jaguar and ask to align with our higher selves. I am presence, body elemental, and Gaia. Take a deep breath in and blow it out. And so it is. Free yourself so you may rise into this temple, into this sacred space. Here we are guided into a temple that looks like a jewel, deep jewel colors of teal and ruby. All the walls and the ceiling are like facets of a diamond. Light comes through, so rich, the jewel tones here. We enter this sacred space with open heart and open mind, and we ask that in this moment we each receive a clear and open channel to the life in our soul, most relevant, most powerful, most wise, that holds the deepest secrets for my freedom and my flow, that we may both return to our destiny path and together move forward and create a new world. A new world requires a new history. Your history, all of it, is filled with power that is hidden and buried. Take a seat here. The lights of all colors are glowing down through these luminous crystal walls. They reflect patterns on the floor and on you, and you feel the light and colors moving through you and over you, bathing you, awakening you. Breathe deeply and anchor yourself here. Receive these luminous colors. They now turn in to 12 master rays and move through your body and your cells. They're moving now to the place within you, the place that you are stuck, are waiting, are aligned, are in fear, or looking back. And you are complete. You are finished. There's a luminous guide here. She has enormous wings. They almost look like enormous ears. She's hovering over you, glowing gold and yellow, and pouring something from a gold pitcher. Where do you receive it? in your hands, in your head, on your face, in your third eye, into your heart. Where are you receiving this? See it, sense it, and acknowledge it now. Does it have a feeling, a color, a taste, a sensation? Where does it go within you? It's creating a stream now, and the stream is flowing. The stream is very lazy. It's just floating along, and now suddenly it's picking up speed and it's pouring over some rocks, and then it's picking up speed and falling off a cliff. And now, like a drop of water, down, 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 down. You simply let go and surrender and allow yourself to align to the flow. Then you are floating, held, nurtured, and you float. You see you're luminous. The little beings that are carrying you are luminous. The waters are luminous. Welcome to your luminous soul. This is the sacred space, the ripe berry of your soul, deep, deep. The heart isn't even here. You have surpassed the human heart and entered the higher heart. See, sense, and feel yourself here. And now you will be greeted and meet in this sacred space a life in your soul that has been calling and reaching, asking in your dreams. A life in your soul that has been ready. I am done. I am done. I'm ready for help. I'm ready for a hand up. I'm ready to lift my head out of this stream of sameness and repetitiveness. I'm ready to see new, create new. I am free. I am free. I want to be free. I reach to you. Together we can be free. Receive this beautiful life in this sacred space. The colors, the sensations, the guides, the energies, the elements all appear to nurture and love, to create a softer, safer, more loving sphere of timeless, sacred wisdom. Be here now. Open your heart. Let your wounds and your fears free in here. Let them meet this other life. Sit and watch as they resonate and relate. You begin to see the connections or feel how they've been co-creating the stuckness and the lack. Now, as you have freed these parts of you, you acknowledge them and you thank them. And you say, you are not me. You have lived in me, and you have directed me and controlled me and limited me and poisoned me and kept me in the dark. And I thank you. I truly thank you for keeping me safe, for playing out the agreements and contracts in this other life. And I am very happy that I came into this life to complete this contract. And yet now, here we are. We are together. Both of you step away and you see these energies like another you. The pain you, the limited you, the you that's afraid, the you that feels separate from money, the you that still has the pain, the disease, the doubt. You continue to back away, watching, seeing in this sacred space the truth. That is not me. That is a very interesting story. That is a very well-made movie. That was excellently scripted, incredibly well acted. You see it now for what it is. Simply some clothes, simply a suit, simply a perspective. Those glasses no longer need to be a part of your life. Now hold hands with the other life. Feel and see how empty your heart and your solar plexus is, as if somebody dug out a huge cave within you and has released it into the center of this sacred sphere. You watch and see the pain and the story playing out, becoming more and more a book, a story, something from a memory and a past. Slowly, that energy becomes smaller and smaller until it is just glowing red energy in a big wooden bowl. This bowl is magic. It is carved with the symbols of your soul's power. You now have melted these agreements, pain, stories, past that live in you and in that life. It has come down to just this essence. In this magic bowl, you will experience transfiguration as you accept all that you were as powerful and important, valuable and worthy. Do you agree to honor, respect, love, and see yourself and all past pain, mistakes, failures, fears, powers as important, powerful, valuable, and welcome here so that we may extract the knowledge and the wisdom to retain the medicine and the power. Allow this transformation now. The symbols in the bowl are glowing. The red energy in the bowl shifting and moving. Is it becoming a mist? Is it turning into gel? Is it forming a shape? Is it melting into glitter? What is the transfiguration that you are seeing and being shown? Now the gems, the wisdom, the book of knowledge, whatever is left in this bowl is exactly what you most require to move forward through this shadow and block. Pick it up and receive it. Feel the whole sphere glow. I now claim these powers from this life, the wisdom and the knowledge, whether it was from loss and pain and survival, whether it was from love and receiving wisdom or expertise, whether it was from the ability to be a loving mother, an accepting partner, a supportive friend, a beautiful observer of the divine and nature, keeping that channel open. Were you a nature connector? Were you a star watcher? What wisdom and magic does this hold, which you have just received and reclaimed? This is concentrated power for you. You need not know what it is, and you might be seeing a vision. You may be seeing it as gems. You may be feeling it as power filling you, pulsing through your veins, standing taller. You may feel shedding or breaking free out of a seed or a pod or an old skin and role that no longer suits you. You cannot enter the reality you are in and bring this with you unless you know that you embody a higher state of conscious creator magic power. Take a moment to feel it, to receive it, to enjoy it. Drink it in and receive. Be the sacred feminine that absorbs, that receives, that is nurtured, that is fulfilled, that can create and nurture anything. That's you. I receive, I accept, I download, I allow this release, I allow this shedding, and I accept my gems of wisdom and power. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now deeply breathe in and allow this sphere of your sacred soul powers to infuse you blue, violet light, and whatever else is optimal for you infuses you all the way down. And then when you release the breath, goes out through the cells and the veins and the meridians, pours down through the brain and the eyes and the skin and the muscles. You now feel infused, glowing, phosphorescent. I now accept that I have released and freed myself from pain patterns, contracts through time and space, and that I have now transformed and re-accepted, realigned, re-accessed the wisdom, all that I carried, both of us now have to move forward. And so it is. This is the truth I walk forward into my life with. I am magic. I am a peaceful, prosperous, powerful magic. I am creating my reality now. I am free from the past and the pain. I am free from the drama of others. I allow the prosperous flow of my truth to enter me, and the powers, the connections, and the co-creative intention of my soul and my blueprint rise now within me. I am ready. I am listening. With every breath and every step, I take this with me. And so it is. May this circle be open, yet unbroken. And this power, transformation, be now permanently accepted within the light body, the chakras, the cells. May this be the message through the mind, the emotion, and the aura that I now have reconnected to these powers and freed myself from these pains. We are one. Breathe yourself down. Fill that heart and fill that belly that got emptied. Fill it with this wisdom, this knowledge. Maybe you don't see it, sense it, or know it yet. Just know it's there. The magic of me. I accept it. I accept it. I call abundancia and I ask for her to increase my capacity for knowing, seeing, feeling, and connecting to these sacred powers. And so it is. Namaste. Wow. All right, so we are going to end. We're not going to get to individual readings. Instead, we were just gifted the first class in the Sacred Soul Powers. So wow. And yes, wow. So that's a repeatable process that will continue to take you into the sacred temple where you will go in and meet the same or different lives. It was created in a way that it was very nice for beginning or for practice or for reconnection, because it wasn't a very long journey. You didn't go into the life. You didn't see what happened. You didn't have to do any of the other work. And so I love this as a beginner process. So once you join the Sacred Soul Powers class, you get the bonus is the audio of communicate with your past lives. So there's a little introduction about it and past lives, and then there's a meditation that you can listen to. So you now have those two processes to connect with your other lives. I would love to see what you have to say. So if you're able to chat yet, to put it up there quick. However, I have a private client session starting. So I am going to call a close and I'll look into the calendar. I do want to share that we have coming up more classes. This is the class that I'm talking about that we'll be doing for February and March together, Awakening Your Past Life Gifts. So, and this is basically what we talked about today. You're never alone. Your past lives exist within your soul, and you can access those things. So it's everything that we've talked about. You have lives with love, joy, and success, and pain, torture, and loss. And they're very dynamic, as we've experienced today. So it's time to prepare for your soul's empowerment reunion. And I believe that's what we just did. So I didn't read this first because sometimes I can't control when the energies want to just start going deep into this, right? So these dynamic, powerful parts of your soul are ready to reconnect, to communicate, to share knowledge, wisdom, healing, and powers. So it's time to prepare for your soul's empowerment reunion as we gain the power to create and grow again in the year of the dragon. And your past lives are all here, and we know that. So the other aspect is that the grandmothers, prosperity grandmother wisdom keepers, I'm going to do a show to introduce them because they're turning into very primary guides for me, very powerful guides. They're timeless, ageless, dream weavers, wisdom keepers, and they work between the realms, weaving with the full color spectrum, conjuring, creating with symbols, teaching, and they've taught us and showed us how to continuously get back into a prosperous flow. What does that mean for us? That timeless and ageless means that you can access wisdom throughout time and space in all dimensions, and that's what we're going to be doing in this class as well. You're also a co-creator in your reality, and you're being asked to be a more co-creator in your reality. So co-creating with the wisdom and creation of the full color spectrum, and as many of your lives that you can access the wisdom power. And that wisdom may be from going through pain, or from being very successful, from having very specific knowledge, like being an architect, to being an artist, to being an intuitive. And there's all different aspects that you hold in there. It's like you have a buffet already, and we were told to go seek outside of ourselves. Where am I? What do I do? And you become very satisfied playing within your realm. So they're here to help, and they're help to you to build the world that you choose to create, and you're here to help them. So So the next one is going to be February 13th, and that's Meet Your Sacred Soul Powers. So we're going to do another one of these. Maybe that's what we did today. I'm not sure. I'll read that. But we will do the readings, so stay tuned. And these are prosperity magic trainings. So we also have, let's see if we have the other upcoming shows. We have the new moon, lunar new year on Thursday. So we are in a very powerful week, very important week. So I'm so glad that we did this at the beginning of the week, because it's going to give a lot of meaning to what you're going to go through. There's the new moon. It's the first new moon of the year. It's the lunar new year. Then we have the Chinese New Year officially. That's 9, that's 10. And that is the Dragon Chinese New Year celebration. I'm going to do something on Thursday and on Saturday, 2 different shows. This one will focus on the new moon energy and the lunar new year energy. So we'll be working with the medicine of the moon maidens, the temple of the moon maidens, and the other sacred energies that want to come in. I often work with my certain spirit guides, and we always work with Ishel and other moon goddess type energies. And it's about illumination and love, and really this is the place to set that. So I hope you'll join me on Thursday. Saturday, we're going to do the Dragon Chinese New Year celebration, and oh my gosh, dragons. That's all I have to say. And then I am next week doing that class called free. This is going to be another free class for you as a precursor to the Sacred Soul Power class, to meet your sacred soul powers. And then, like I said, let's go ahead and take a look together at sharing doing some readings. Okay. So thank you so much, everybody. I want to see if anybody, thanks so much. I'm listening again. Thank you. I'm going to listen to this again later. Oh, wonderful. Thank you for the hearts and the rainbows. Thank you for the gift. Oh, you're so welcome. That was awesome. Very helpful. Thank you. You're super. Namaste. Thank you, Sylvia. Good, good. Part of me, my conscious self says, I promised you readings. And the other part of me all through the process kept saying, are you kidding me? This is awesome. I'll have to listen. Hi, Kier. Oh my gosh. How wonderful to see you. Love you. Hi, Autumn. No problem. Oh, hi, Andrea from the Czech Republic. How wonderful. Well, come back again. We will do this the readings and we have the other shows, make sure that you're on the list at nanakasha.com and that you check out the shop, and you can check out any of the other things that we're doing, but you have access to me. So let me know what you want. Namaste.